Lesson 33, we get into subtracting integers. The other day we talked about adding integers. Today we're talking about subtracting them. A couple of example problems that I'd like to go over with you, and then you'll have some time to work on some practice ones on your own. Example number 1, part A, we're looking at -3 minus +2. Now before, we always liked the idea of having an addition sign in between these, which made life a lot easier. The good news is we can turn this subtraction sign into an addition sign, but there's one other step we have to involve when we do it. So to start with, we're going to start by copying the first part, which is -3. And now instead of a plus sign or a minus sign, I'm going to create an addition sign in there. The only thing is, when we do that, we need to change this +2 to a -2. We call this guy the two-stroke method. Why? Well, the first stroke is changing that subtraction to an addition, and the second stroke is when we change that a positive to a negative. Now in the next problem you'll see we end up changing the negative to a positive. So you just switch the signs essentially. So now that we have the addition problem, -3 plus -2, I think it's a little bit more obvious to see. We owe somebody $3 and we also owe person B $2, which puts us 5 in the hole. Therefore, -5. Let's go ahead and take a look at part B. Here we have -3 minus -2. Once again, we start by copying the first part. That's not going to change. But instead of a minus sign, again, let's go ahead and change it into an addition sign. So plus. In addition with it, we're going to change the sign in front of it. Okay, so not a -2, but now a +2. Once again, the two-stroke method. First stroke is for changing the subtraction to addition, and the second stroke is changing the value of the number to its opposite, from a negative to a positive. And now that we see that, once again, I think this is a little bit more obvious how we want to do this. -3 plus +2. So I owe somebody $3, but I made $2. I'm still in the hole, but now I only owe $1. Therefore, -1. Example number 2, we get into more problems where we have the two-stroke method. We have 18 minus a -7. Here I'm going to show you the two-stroke method that you will be using in your homework and on tests and so forth. So I don't like the minus sign, correct? So let's change it to addition. There it goes. In the process, the second stroke, I need to change the sign of that number. So that now becomes +7. Well, that makes life easy. 18 plus 7, we come up with our answer to be 25. Part B, 12 minus -5. Once again, I'm going to copy the problem, minus -5. If you don't want to use the parentheses, you don't really have to. The reason they use those is so you clearly identify that this guy right here is negative and this guy right here is clearly the subtraction sign. Once again, two-stroke method. Don't like the subtraction sign, so I change it to addition. Don't like the -5, so I have to change that as well in the process. There's your two strokes. Lastly, 12 plus 5, I'm coming up with 17. We're going to spend more time going over these subtracting integers, but I think between these 4 problems, that'll be enough to get you started. At least try it on your own in the practice set, problems A through D, as well as F. Once you have your answers for A through D and F, you can check with your sub to see if you got them correct, or you can go over them as a group. And as always, when you're done with your practice problems, go ahead and get a start to your homework. Homework will be lesson 33, 1 through 30, due for Friday. If you have questions in the homework from this lesson, make sure you stop in during access tomorrow morning to go over these. Okay? We'll go over more of these as well, but that should be good enough to get you a start. We will see you then.